Story 1. When you think we're trying to mock you by having the ugly picture of you on our phones, we think you look beautiful in that picture, as usually they're the candid ones you won't put on social media for everyone else to see, but we captured just for ourselves. Story 2. Despite complaints alleging the contrary, we do have conversations with our male friends regarding how they treat women and hold them accountable for their actions. If we think a guy has a solid girlfriend or wife and he's messing up, we tell him. It's just rare that women see or hear these conversations because we don't broadcast them publicly. Having a conversation is for correcting the issue. Posting about it is for embarrassing the person, which is usually not a great solution. Story 3. The vast majority of men are not impressed when a man is sleeping around and dating a bunch of women at the same time. There's undeniably a small vocal niche that thinks they're awesome for it. In a room of 10 guys, you'll get one guy boasting about it, thinking he's impressive, telling everyone about all the women he's involved with, and 9 guys pursing their lips and nodding, saying, "Cool, that's great, Dave," and attempting to change the subject because they think he's a tool. Story 4. They tell their friends far less about their relationships and sex lives than girls do. The stereotypical locker room talk is more of a girl thing in reality. Story 5. The sheer amount of us who urinate against the bowl instead of into the water specifically to avoid waking anybody up at night. If you have ever shared a bed with a man and had a night of uninterrupted sleep, that's why. Story 6. Ladies first was invented so we can look at your bum after you've walked through the door. We help you into the passenger seat so that as we walk around to the driver's side, we can let rip that fart we've been holding in for the entire date. It doesn't take us 30 minutes to take a seat. We're just making the most of the peace and quiet we get while we're in there. Story 7. Sometimes I like to be by myself, just not alone. It's really nice sometimes when I can lie down and my wife can just exist in the same room as me, but we're not talking. Story 8. The biggest secret that all women should know about men is. The biggest secret that all women should know about men is. The biggest secret that all women should know about men is. The biggest secret that all women should know about men is. Story 9. If a man is quiet, he wants to be alone and doesn't want to talk to you. It's not personal. There are some demons in his head that he's trying to fight. Men generally don't break down and cry. We go inside ourselves and search for a solution. We become consumed by the problem, and our mission at that time is to fix it. The problem is that we don't always know how to fix it, and it eats us alive, causing depression and so on. Talking about how we feel doesn't make us feel better. Figuring out a solution is what we want. We generally don't want to express our feelings. If we talk about it, we're searching for solutions and generally want input. Women are generally the opposite. They just want to be heard and vent to get it off their chest, but we men don't operate like that. If I'm venting to my buddy, I'm not looking for him to feel sorry for me or give me sympathy. I'm looking for him to say, "I'm sorry you're going through that. Let's figure this out together. Here's my input. This is what I think you should do. Let's fix this." So, if your man is quiet and doesn't want to talk, don't complain at him. He's fighting demons that you don't know about, and he might break down and cry if he talks about it with you, which will make him feel weaker and probably worse. I know that doesn't make sense to you as a woman, but that's just how we are as men. I will say one thing. We need to do a better job of allowing space for our male friends to cry and open up to us. Most of us are alone out here, and we need to lean on each other and help each other fix our problems. Most of us suffer alone because we're afraid of being judged by our male friends and being seen as weak, but we need each other. We all know what happens when we break down in front of our significant others. It's generally not good, but we need to open a space where it's okay to break down in front of each other and then pick each other up and support one another. Story 10. We periodically have days where we have a couch hour, a time where we search for peace and quiet and maybe a bit of TV or phone scrolling. It usually occurs in the evening, when women still have about 5,000 unsaid or unused words, which they need to express right there and then. Story 11. I've had way too many conversations lately where grown women still don't know how difficult it is for men to date. One friend had 2,500 unread messages on Hinge in the past month alone, and I told her I got 3 messages in 2 years. Men are more afraid of women than you think. The psychological toll of systemic rejection is insane. Story 12. Words mean things. When we say we are fine, we are. When you ask what we are doing and we say nothing, that is what we are doing. We say what we mean and mean what we say. There is no trick, no subterfuge, no hidden meaning. It is just what it is. Story 13. I am thinking either about foolish things or actually nothing. If an intruder came into the house, would I go for a quick jab to the nose or a chokehold? Story 14. In my male brain, there's always something running in the background, like a Wikipedia deep dive. I wonder which country invented hummus first, or why presidential beards aren't popular anymore. So that's the answer when my wife asks what I'm thinking about when my face has a blank look, or when I'm running through the steps for the next project at home. Story 15. We remember. My father has told me a myriad of stories about his friends, teachers, and his many adventures. You know the dad lore. My favorites are the ones where he talks about how he met my mother. He remembers the exact street, the exact corner, and the exact people he was with the moment he met her. My mother either doesn't want to talk about her past or, as she says, she's forgotten because it isn't important. Story 16. If you ask a question and we give you a very generic or surface answer, it's because we've given you a real, authentic, and true answer before. You took that answer and got mad or ignored us. You tried to reverse it and made it about you. So, I'm good, it's fine, cool. Sure, okay, you're right, whatever you want. All checked out answers, all exhausted answers, all going through the motions answers. Story 17. We always buy extra tools we don't yet need when doing a project. If I'm building a doghouse out of wood, I tell my wife that I have to have a new cordless DeWalt hammer drill. Laying paver block around her flower beds? Then I absolutely cannot do it without a new chainsaw. Story 18. I know exactly how far and how accurately I can throw any rock. I know if I'll be able to pick something up just by looking at it. It is because we practice. We don't mindlessly skip rocks on the lake until the cows come home because we're easily amused. We're calibrating. Story 19. Every guy has been friends with or has had in their friend group a player, pickup artist type, a man who is really good at picking up women. We have all seen women of all walks of life fall for the dumbest of lines and approaches. So when we hear women say they don't fall for that stuff or they only like normal quiet guys, we're skeptical. Story 20. My wife seems to think that peeing can happen by accident instead of ejaculation. I want to say that seems ridiculous, but then I learned there is an entire Reddit subreddit dedicated to men urinating while ejaculating, laugh out loud. Beyond that, she doesn't seem to understand basic anatomy about men. For example, my penis is not a switchblade. There needs to be some motivation for it to become erect. Can't be willed into action at a moment's notice. Story 21. Insisting that we talk about something is sometimes worse. If we do not want to talk, please respect that. In my worst moments, usually what I want is to spend time, for example, over beers or golfing or something with a good friend. We do not talk about things even then and are not expected to. Time spent just chatting or doing something with someone I trust is usually enough. Story 22. When a large-scale threat is happening and we evacuate the women and children first, it's not to be a hero or to be the sacrifice. We do it so we can hang back and make out with each other. We need some long overdue bromance. Story 23. If we said them in public, they wouldn't be secrets, now would they? If you are that interested, I recommend disguising yourself as a man and attending the monthly men's meeting held in most towns across America. Be careful, though. The secret handshake is not performed with our hands. I said too much already. Story 24. Just because I'm quiet doesn't mean something is wrong. Back scratches, head scratches, and neck rubs are our favorite things. The pictures we love of you that you think are ugly or weird, we love and look at constantly. Story 25. Him. I'm fine. Her. Really? Him. I'm fine. Her. Are you sure? Him. I'm fine. Her. Clearly not. Walks out of room. Him. I was fine until you could not accept my answer the first time. Story 26. We talk to each other about our sex lives, but wives and girlfriends are off limits. That's usually why married or partnered guys always have that one single friend we live vicariously through. Story 27. The nods language. It is real, it is working, and it is universal. A simple example. People we know and people we don't will receive different nods, and it depends on the situation and angle. Story 28. I can't say I have too many secrets. I'm a plain human who prefers a simple and straightforward life. I know what I like, what I dislike, what I want, and what I do not want. I'm also kind of lazy by nature. I take the path of least resistance to get the things I want. I'm mildly tired a lot. My ability to concentrate and remember things that aren't written down has decreased by 90%. I am a human being who is mostly surviving because of well-established and routine habits. I prefer structured and repeatable systems and processes that allow me to conduct my daily existence in the simplest and most efficient way possible. To be completely honest, I don't have the energy to go off script anymore. My life is just a series of steps from A to Z that I feel compelled to complete. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Story 29. It's not that we're bottling up emotion because we think showing them is weakness. We've learned to be highly selective of who gets to see us in that level of vulnerability. Story 30. Not talking is a completely reasonable thing to do. I don't need to share all that happens to me with everyone, and I'm completely capable of having emotions without running a real-time commentary for everyone in the room. If I'm not talking, it's most likely because I don't feel the need to. Story 31. What are you thinking about? Literally nothing. I have a whole section of my brain to turn off thoughts and disappear while I stare at a wall. It's nice. The pinch and roll method or the stretch and scratch. Ways we scratch our balls. The walking leg shake. Getting our balls unstuck from our leg. The smile and nod. This one isn't universal, but no matter the situation, some of us can shut off all emotion and just smile and nod. Practically turn yourself into a robot just to function until you can either be by yourself or handle it in any number of ways, such as therapy, alcohol, or the gym. Story 32. We are all patriarchal overlords determined to oppress women. That is why women cannot vote. They do not have dishwashers, clothes washers, or dryers. That is why we will never invent multiple ways of female contraception. If we did, we would never accept women acting promiscuously during some sort of sexual revolution. We will never craft a legal system that makes it illegal to discriminate based upon sex while, at the same time, allowing women to be punished less harshly for the same crime as compared to men. We will never craft common law marriage laws enabling unmarried women to benefit the same as if they were ending a state-sanctioned marriage. We will never craft divorce laws that benefit women at the expense of men. Women will never be given priority claim to children in a divorce. They will never be given the house, half of the husband's assets, and be paid alimony for divorcing. To do any of that would be gynocentric and would be antithetical to our patriarchy. Story 33. If I can have the house to myself without anyone in the house. Yes, without anybody. For even an hour, it would do a lot for my peace, sanity, and decompression. Story 34. Men who have smart sisters are a dishonest girlfriend's worst nightmare. Sisters read that situation like a living lie detector, especially older sisters, of which I have two. My wife of 32 years ran that gauntlet when we dated and passed. Although one of them got a kick out of saying, "Mom, did you hear that?" She doesn't like, insert whatever wife material, just to stir the pot at family dinners, but all in fun. Story 35. Yeah, when we stare into nothing, we are thinking of nothing. We are rebooting. Something did not sit right with us, and we are mentally letting all that go to start anew. We stare at our significant others because, in our eyes, they are the most beautiful creatures created on this planet. In sweatpants, in a ball cap, no makeup, oversized shirt, we find you breathtaking. So when you catch him staring, just know that's what he is thinking. We have routines, even down to slapping your butt if we see you in the kitchen. If we deviate from this, something is on our mind. Ask about it, but don't push. Ask later if you're still worried. All you get today. Story 36. Not so much of a secret, but when you ask us what we are thinking about and we say nothing, it means exactly that. We are just staring into space, or we are thinking about something really random or weird which you won't get, so we just say nothing. Like how many tigers would be needed to take down King Kong? If we turned into a tank, what tank would we be? Or if I attached a fork to a drill, would it pick up spaghetti better or result in a fun amount of chaos? Those are just some examples. I'm pretty sure other men have many more thoughts that are more random and hilarious than my examples. Story 37. We need space sometimes. It's called room to grow for a reason. Even if it's just doing two separate things in the same room or doing our own thing in a different room. Story 38. When you ask us what we are thinking about and we reply nothing, we are genuinely thinking about nothing. Most of us are able to completely turn off our thoughts at will and will do so as needed in order to maintain our mental stability. Story 39. Despite the stereotype that men always want to have sex, we do not always want to have sex. Also, sometimes we will have sex when we do not really feel like it because it is easier to have sex than it is to deal with the woman feeling rejected.